Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be explaining the process that I went through to stay in the Netherlands as an American citizen. This video is not meant to replace any legal advice, but to be informational to anyone who wants to understand more of the process of staying in the Netherlands via the Dutch-American Friendship Treaty, or DAFT for short. So hopefully this video is helpful for anyone else trying to figure this process out. There are 11 major steps that I'll be breaking down. The only initial requirements that you will need to fulfill in order for this process to be available to you is to be an American citizen, currently be in the Netherlands, and have a few thousand euros at your disposal. So let's get into it. Step 1 is be in the Netherlands. Now this is obviously a lot easier said than done, especially now that we have coronavirus and borders are not exactly as easy to cross as they were before. However, if you are an American and you are in the Netherlands, then you've already completed step 1. Step 2 is going to be obtaining a BSN number. This is basically just the equivalent of an American social security number. It's going to be what identifies you to the Dutch government, and once you obtain it, it'll be stuck with you for life. One thing to note is that you are only allowed to get a BSN number before you have a visa if you require it for something such as starting a business. Not every foreigner can just waltz in and obtain a BSN number, and if they do give it to you before you started your visa application, it in some ways is an exception. However, this is the process that I went through myself. In order to get a BSN number, you have to register at the RNI counter, or non-resident database, and not every Multiplicity has a RNI counter, so you'll have to go to this website in order to check to see which one is closest to where you are living at. The only document you need to bring with you for your appointment is your passport. They'll ask for your home address in the US in order to register you in the database, and you do not need to provide them with any proof. They will simply ask you to write it down for them. You should receive 2 pieces of paper before you leave, and one of those has your BSN number. Step 3 is register a sole proprietorship with the Chamber of Commerce. Start by going to this section of the KVK website, and since it is not possible to have a DigiD as a non-resident, you will be able to register your business without one. But you will need to have your BSN number. This is why it's necessary to register in the RNI system prior to registering your company with the KVK. So simply scroll to the bottom of the page, follow the prompts. You will fill out a form that provides address information and the description of what your business will do. After filling out the form, I would print a copy for your own records, follow the prompts to create an appointment, and keep in mind that you will be allowed to make changes to your information during your appointment, so having the perfect company name and description is not necessary at this time. You do not need to have a business plan to present to the KVK at your appointment in order to register your business either. But you do need to prove your American address since it is listed as your home address in the RNI system, and you will need to show proof of your Dutch address that you will be operating your business out of. The proof of your US address must be an official government-issued document less than 1 month old. I had just gotten my driver's license renewed right before moving to the Netherlands, so I was able to use that to prove my US address. For the Dutch address, you do not need a commercial address to operate your business out of. It may also be residential address where you're currently staying in the Netherlands. In my case, I was renting a room for my landlord who owned the house I was staying in. I needed 3 forms of proof. 1 was signed permission that I was allowed to operate a business out of their house using their residential address as my own business address. The second form of proof was that I needed a copy of their passport so that the KVK could compare their signatures. And the third document was I needed proof that I was indeed living at this address. It is probably easiest just to provide the rental contract to the KVK. Assuming you have provided sufficient proof to the KVK of both addresses, they should make copies of information you provide for their own records, and then give you a folder with a piece of paper that has your KVK number on it and some extra information. Now, all you have to do is pay 50 euros on your way out the door, and you will have your business registered. Since you are only a temporary resident at this point and registered in the RNI system, your business will only be valid for 4 months unless they receive updated information about your registration after you have been approved for a visa from the IND. After your business is registered, the Dutch government will send you all necessary tax information. Keep in mind that this will come in multiple letters over a period of a couple of months, at least it did for me, and they are sent to the address listed as your home address in the United States. I did not find it quick or easy to get them to send it to my correspondence address in the Netherlands, so I simply had someone at my home in the US take a photo of the letters and send them to me when they arrived. As soon as your business is registered, you are permitted to work as a self-employed individual. You do not need to wait for your visa or bank account before you begin conducting work. Simply keep track of all expenses and invoices for tax purposes. The fourth step is to submit an application to the IND. Even though you still do not have all the necessary proof in order to be approved, you still must apply now in order to move forward with the application process. You do not have to fill out the entire application. As an American citizen applying for a self-employment visa through DAFT, only a small portion of the application must be filled out, pages 1 through 8. You do not need to fill out any other appendix, such as the ones relating to health, getting a tuberculosis test, or the declaration on income of self-employed people. Instructions on where to send the application are on the second and third to last page of the application. And you need to include 2 other pieces of evidence when you send in your application. Remember to include a printed copy of your passport and every page that has stamps on it. Also include a letter that explains you will provide proof of your business funds at a later date when you are given permission from them to open a business account in the Netherlands. After a couple of weeks, you should receive a letter in the mail at your Dutch address that provides instructions on how to pay for the application fee. The cost of the self-employment visa application is 1,379 euros. After they have received your payment, you will be able to schedule an appointment to provide your biometrics to the IND and receive a sticker in your passport that allows you to open your business bank account in your company name. Be sure to bring your passport and KVK information to your appointment at the IND. They will take your photo for your residence card and collect your fingerprints. I had to remind them that I also needed a sticker in my passport. The people in the office I visited did not realize they needed to give it to me, but after I explained it to them, they put it in my passport for me. Step number 7. Now that you have a sticker in your passport, you will be able to open a business bank account in the Netherlands. I opened my account with ING or ING because of the promotion that if you are opening a business account that has been registered to a business in the KVK within the last 12 months, then the first 6 months of your account, you do not have to pay any fees. Afterwards, it's around 10 euros per month. Keep in mind that most customer service with ING is based around the Dutch language, so you will either need to speak Dutch or have someone who can translate for you in order to really work with ING. You must make an appointment with a bank in order to open a business account. Be sure to bring all the documents that you have needed thus far and all of the new documents you have gathered throughout the process as well. You will need to provide proof of your business, identity verification via passport and BSN number. You will need to provide proof that you are allowed to stay in the Netherlands, and this is done with a sticker in your passport from the IND. After a couple of weeks, you should receive multiple letters in the mail to your Dutch address from the bank you choose to use. Step 8. While you are waiting for your bank account to be approved, set an appointment with the town hall office in the exact municipality that you are living in order to change your registration from being in the RNI system as a temporary resident and into the permanent resident database. Some municipalities have different rules on what is required in order to be able to be registered. For me, I was able to do it with a sticker in my passport alone. However, other municipalities may not register you until you can show your residence card from the IND or the letter from the IND stating you are approved for a residence card. Technically, you are supposed to be registered in the BRP database as soon as you know you'll be staying in the Netherlands for longer than 4 months. So if obtaining the sticker means you will be in the Netherlands for now at least longer than 4 months, I would definitely set an appointment just to make sure you have all your T's crossed and your I's dotted. When you register at the municipality, you must provide a copy of your rental agreement. You must also provide a form that says you have permission from the person who owns the house for you to be registered there. Each municipality has their own form that needs to be filled out and signed by the person who owns the house you are staying in. You will also need to provide them with a certified copy of your birth certificate. However, it will not be recognized as valid unless it also has an apostille on it. Once you have been approved for your business bank account and you have completed the opening process, you must now deposit the minimum amount of 4,500 euros. Your bank account must maintain a minimum balance of 4,500 euros during the entirety of your visa's life. If the Dutch government ever audits you and you do not have at least 4,500 euros, they can take away your visa. Now, after you have deposited the amount, you must have a certified accountant create an opening balance statement for your business. Here is what mine looked like. Step 11. You are finally ready to submit the last bit of required evidence to the IND. Send a bank statement of your opening balance with a letter explaining what it is for. Make sure to include your V number and case number on each document just as you did when you sent in your application. From the time that you send in your application, the IND has 3 months to decide on whether or not to approve you. As long as you have provided all the correct documentation and meet the necessary requirements, there should be no reason for them to deny a visa for you. Eventually, you will receive a letter in the mail stating whether or not you were approved. Assuming you were approved, then within another week or two, you should receive another letter in the mail that informs you your residence card is ready to pick up and give instructions on how to set an appointment to do so. Couple things to note. When you are officially approved by the IND to stay in the Netherlands with a self-employment visa, they will automatically inform the Multiplicity where you are registered to ensure that your information is up to date. Then the KVK will receive the updated information from the Multiplicity, and your bank will receive updated information from the KVK. Basically, once you're approved, your business will automatically be switched from seasonal to permanent, so you don't have to worry about your registration expiring with the KVK. Second thing to note, you will have to file taxes 4 times every year, once at the beginning of every quarter. Your username and password are on the document sent to your US address by post once you are registered with the KVK. Third thing to note, do not be afraid to call the IND if you have questions or you need clarification about your specific situation. They won't offer any information up on their own, but they were very helpful in answering every question I had for them. Just be prepared to wait on hold for at least 45 minutes every time you give them a call, so write down all of your questions beforehand just to make sure you get them all answered. Alright, that includes the whole process that I went through as an American citizen to get a self-employment visa via DAFT in the Netherlands. Let me know in the comments if this video helped you out personally, and if you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them. Remember to support this channel by liking this video and subscribing. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you later.